Alright friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to helping you get better at Bannerlord through the use of advanced field command and tactics. And we are going to continue here with another one of our custom battles. This is actually at the request of one of the viewers of one of our recent custom battles. These type of requests will usually be met with challenge accepted, right? I'm not going to be able to do 5 custom battles a day. Of course, there's processing involved with these episodes, but it's fun for me to sort of explore the different custom battles in Bannerlord and try different things. And this is a unique scenario that this person requested specifically. What they said is that they were having a hard time with Battania defending against Aserai and their elite units. So what I've done here to try to make basically an even match here is I've gone into both the two different sides. Actually, I need to adjust this slightly. And only the top tier units from both sides have been selected. Additionally, the Battanian level, we're going to take the Tier 5 Battanian Fian and Tier 6 Battanian Fian Champion. Just like we're going to take 50% of the army of the other side, we're going to take the Veteran Faris and the Vanguard Faris, right? These are basically the Tier 5 and Tier 6 units from both sides, both respective sides. And as you can see, both armies, half of their army are these two very strong units. Battanian Fian Champs are by all accounts one of the very best archers, really the best archer, and it's actually not real close because of their amount of ammunition and the damage they do on top of good melee skills. And of course the Aserai Faris are nasty with javelins, and of course they're very capable of spearing you in the face with their spear, strong defense, good armor, all of that good stuff. Now, the army composition here, this is kind of roughly what you would expect to see outside of just those units. It would be really boring, actually, to have a battle of Battanian Fian Champs against Aserai Faris, like 500 on each side. I know some people are doing that out there, but I'm really not interested in that at all. Firstly, because it's not realistic. Like, you're not going to run around and actually face that in Bannerlord. And also just because there's not a lot of tactics involved when you have one unit, right? So we still have other units on the battlefield here. As you can see, the Aserai, they have their shock troop and their infantry line, and the Battanians actually have all three. I actually like the Battanians because of this. They have a true shockman and the falxman. They have a skirmisher, an excellent skirmisher in the wildlings, and a solid shield and spear troop. Additionally, the Aserai in this battle, they have some heavy cavalry archers, and the Battanians have both their heavy cav, their tier 5 heavy cav, and their mounted skirmishers. And lastly, of course, the master archer for the Aserai. So the forces here should be roughly identical in strength. We're very slightly outnumbered, and we're going to play on the Aserai's home turf and give this a shot. We've also given them a nice captain here. He's riding his camel like a dipshit, and his banner is actually pretty good banner. Decrease in taken melee attack damage, meaning our infantry is going to do less damage to what unit he's commanding. Into battle we go here.
For my command.
Alright, this is perfect. What I want to be able to do is have the Aserai circle us here. So ordinarily, while if you wanted to sort of cheese this episode and you were getting your ass kicked by the Aserai, you just put your archers at the very far back of the map, and they can no longer circle you with their Faris. We're not going to do that. We want to play this on kind of hard difficulty. You can't always do that in every map or in every battle. So we're going to play this kind of out here in the field, right? We're going to essentially allow the Aserai Faris their best possible outcome here. Now I'm going to split my divisions as usual, but I'm not going to use the 8th Corps. I don't see an advantage of it. I've thought a little bit about this battle, and I want to use 3 infantry divisions. I'm going to divide the infantry divisions, of course, into their 3 types, right? The skirmishers, the shock troops, and the spear infantry. And then I'm going to have 2 archer tranches. Really, you could do just fine with 1, but I want to be able to have 2 in case there's flanking opportunities or in case I need to charge with one of them in melee. So we'll have 2 archer tranches. We'll stick this guy there. The third is going to be shock troops, right? So we'll fix that in a second. And then the second will be, these will be our heavy horse. A few of these guys will probably have javelins, and that's just fine. I don't care. Yeah, there's a couple guys in there. I don't care if they're intermixed that badly. And before I move my units forward, I essentially want to show you what I'm planning to do here. One of the unfortunate things is that the AI does the same thing every time when it comes to horse, almost every time anyways, when it comes to javelin throwing or horse archers, and they approach counterclockwise, right? They do this little circular thing as if they're a hurricane obeying the laws of the centrifugal force and etc. And we're going to essentially plan for that, right? We have our shield and spear warriors here on this flank. That way, if they do charge, and not just if, but when they charge us with their Aserai Faris, we will have these guys with spears, shields, and nice armor there waiting for them. I will probably, in fact, leave those guys in a single line because there's going to be so many Aserai Faris here. I want to have as many spears in their face as possible. All right, so the skirmishers are actually going to fill the center, and what I'm planning on doing with them, it's depending on what the enemy does. I'm planning actually on we're going to do a little bit of kiting with the skirmishers. Because they can throw javelins, I'm probably going to pull them back a bit and pull our archers kind of back towards that direction. Now again, we're not going to pull all the way back to the very edge of the map. We're just going to pull back a little bit if their infantry is boring down on us. Now the 4th archers, these are the weaker archers of the 2 tranches. In fact, I want to do this, put the stronger archers, make sure the Battanian Fians are in this protected, stronger vanguard right here, right? Most of these guys in the 5th Corps should be Battanian Fians, and most of the guys in the 4th should be, Battanian Fian Champions and the Battanian Fians. And then we're going to have a cavalry strategy that goes like this. Since I know the Aserai is going to come in this direction, what I want to do is I want to push them back. Because I know their range is shorter with their javelins, I can shoot them with arrows. I want these guys on open fire from the get-go because I want these guys shooting as many arrows into the enemy as they can. The other thing I want to do is almost like a boxer who has longer arms. I want to push the enemy away from our vulnerable troops. Of course, once their cav starts rampaging in here, it's going to turn into a chaotic scrum. Before that happens, though, I want to try to keep the enemy from barreling in here. So what I'm going to do is one of 2 things. I'm either going to put them in lines like this and sort of almost like a wall, try to basically push the Aserai Faris away from us, or I'm going to take the 7th, form it into a big fat square, and then the 2nd kind of right next to it, a little line and square defense, right? That'll make it harder for the Aserai Faris to pour through and at least buy us some time where our archers can pound them with arrows. The last thing you're missing here, and the unit must be, I'm not sure where they are. Oh, there's none in there. That's why I hadn't set it up correctly yet. The 3rd is going to be the Falksmen, right? I want these guys to be Falksmen, and the way you do that is you give your other units both shields, right? You assign them preference for shields, and then when you go and look in here at the 3rd Corps, those guys should be all Falksmen. Okay, make sure here, yeah, every single one of these guys has these big nasty pole arms. These guys are delicate, and I'm going to use these guys kind of later in the battle if and when their infantry charges. Here's what we're going to do with these guys. For now, we're actually going to stick them over here in the corner. I don't want them getting hit by archers. I don't want them getting charged down by cav. I want them protected and where they're least vulnerable. The enemy's likely to come over here, so we're going to put them on the other side. All right. So into battle we go here. Of course, we're going to resume our normal positions here because we're going to kind of rush up and form these positions. I'm probably not going to go very far, but I want to push a little bit forward so, again, the enemy can get behind us. Our archers can stay largely the same here. Okay, into battle we go. I feel a little naked. Oh, this is why. I forgot about this part. This is slightly snafu. This is actually going to buy the enemy some time here. So I forgot that this guy, that's why I felt like something was slightly off. I am missing a horse. This guy does not have a horse. So I need to borrow a horse here, right? Give me your horse there, bitches. And almost immediately we're going to tell them to get back on the horse. Now that is costing me time. That's kind of unfortunate, right? Because I'm not going to be able to quite sell, but we're still going to roll with this. So I'm going to send the 2nd out there right away. These are horse archers trying to come in. I don't want them pounding us with arrows, of course, before the rest of our troops can get set. The rest of our units are setting up kind of like I talked about. And I'm actually going to drag these 7 skirmishers with me here. Alright, so these horses are doing precisely what I want. They're just sort of pushing the enemy back. Now this guy on horse is almost worthless. He's actually, he's got a bow skill, but because he has a longbow, he can't even fucking use it. Now their archers are kind of rolling back there. That's actually totally fine there. Those archers will get mauled by our archers. But this thing here is doing exactly what I want it to. You can see, if you remember what I told you I wanted it to, that second corps is basically pushing back their skirmishers. As long as those guys are pushed back a little bit, we're exchanging javelins here, our archers can really go to work. The longer they're firing, the more likely we are to fucking rout them this time. The 7th skirmishers are also exchanging bullets. Now the cab is starting to circle. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually drag the 7th and essentially try to counter all this Aserai Vanguard that's charging into our troops here. Not a lot of strategy at this point, is it? Alright, now watching their infantry line is coming up. So we're going to move this infantry line back and our skirmishers back. Now that 3rd unit I told you about, I'm bringing that unit over. It's only 23 guys, but it's still going to have an impact. This infantry division gets turned, and the 6th gets turned as well. Just going to pinch and crush their infantry. 1st gets told to attack, the 6th gets told to attack, and the 3rd, which is following them, is now going to swallow up this force. This infantry force is going to be vulnerable. In fact, they're dead so for sure. I'm actually going to turn this skirmisher line back toward the front here to absorb some damage. See, the Battanian Fians are getting pounded with arrows. We're going to try to protect them somewhat with that infantry line. So far so good. Most of these Fian champs in the back here are protected. They've got a nice level of defense and troops between them and the Aserai Faris. And the screen is highly green. And I haven't done a thing with it. I just did 3 damage. It's really not many substantial damage. And our infantry at this stage have all their infantry totally down, which means now guys are in good health because they're routing. Now we can focus on killing this. And honestly, this battle is actually done a lot better than I expected. It's basically, I don't want to say it's a total massacre, but this is going to be a bad massacre down here. And that, all that includes the fact that, when I started this battle, I wasn't on a horse, and so I had to kind of scramble just to get myself prepared. And that was actually kind of staggering how destructive this force was. Now, a lot of people complain, or maybe not complain, but they take note of how dominating the Battanian Fian Champ is. And it dawns on me I have a really good way of sort of having an experiment here within a vacuum. What I think I'll do is I'll spend a few minutes and essentially reload everything here from this battle, right? The exact same tier 5, tier 6 for both sides, only I will play the Faris. I will play the Aserai, and we'll see if we can't overcome this vicious force of 130 Battanian Fian Champs. And just so we know that it's valid here, just so we know that this experiment was a true fair experiment, let's go in here and look. All right, so let's look mostly I'm concerned about the noble line. So 32 Vanguard Faris fled and 32 were killed. Or excuse me, 92. That means there was we're gonna have to do some math here. That was 124 Vanguard Faris, so 124 of their best, and we had 102 and 22 dead, so exactly the same. 124 Battanian Fian Champs, so we had the exact same number of elite units as the enemy. Then their tier 5 unit, they had, it looks like it's 124. We'll do a little math here. And I imagine the Fians was also 124 or very close to. 76 plus 47, that's a little harder, 123. So it's identical. What that tells you here, I guess it was one less Fian for us. What that tells you is that this was a truly fair battle. The same amount of nobles on both sides. It's not like I have, some higher level troops or companions or something like that. And as you can see, we get to have a picnic. We conquer the Aserai today in a pretty dramatic fashion. So we'll come back. We'll do this from the other side and kind of see if I can overcome these super powerful Battanian Fian Champs. All right, so we are back. Just a few minutes there to change everything around, and basically everything is the reverse, the exact opposite of where it was. We've got the Aserai will be playing with 50% of their main noble lines, of course the top 2 tiers, and of course the Battanians have their top 2 tiers. So both sides are going to have a huge amount of their elite units, and then I tried to I don't remember exactly the amount of infantry and archers I had on both sides, but on both sides, of course, they have only the elite units. That way, theoretically, this battlefield, both sides are absolutely evenly prepared, you know, and it will be on level. Again, both of these captains or companions or whatever you want to call these guys, both of them have nice banners that'll help their troops. So we're going to try to formulate some kind of strategy here and tactic to defeat this very tough Battanian Fian group. I actually don't have a clear strategy right now. I'm actually just gonna shoot from the hip here. We're going to try a few different things and see if we can't get it to work. Let's see. I want at least 3 or 4 cav divisions. Obviously, I have a cav heavy army here, and I don't have a lot of experience doing this, to be perfectly honest. I want a shock troop division. Let's see, 100 infantry, so I can get shock troops by doing this. We'll put these guys in shield and spear. That should make the 1st division then be all shield and spear, and the 6th. It'll be hard for me to remember because usually my 6th is skirmishers, but my 6th now is shock troops. And let's see. So we'll lock these off. Horse archers in the 7th, archers in the 5th, of course. We'll just do one giant group of archers. And we'll do a very strong second corps of cav. This will be my elite Vanguard Faris. We'll put the top guys in there, and we'll put this guy in charge of that group. That way they benefit significantly from his banner. Let's see, I want a defensive line of cav, so I think we'll use the 4th cav, can be lower tiered preference, and what we'll do with them is use them as a defensive screen for our archers, for our infantry wave here on the other side. I don't need it to be a huge amount of troops because they're frankly just going to be absorbing arrows, protecting our troops and archers from the javelin cav of the enemy here. Battania, they have those mounted skirmishers. And then, you know, our 2nd, I want it to be the bigger of these 2 corps. Not dramatically bigger, but bigger. And my strategy, effectively, is to crisscross the enemy, right? We're going to come in with a solid front line here of heavy cav in the 4th, heavy infantry in the 1st, and then behind them the archers. And the palace guards, of course, the shock troops protected in between all of that. And then on both flanks, we're essentially going to have these horse cav divisions and a horse archer division. It's kind of a small horse archer division surrounding the enemy from that point. So fortunately, unlike the first battle, I don't have to rush around and look for a horse. And now all I'm looking for is good slopes for where to put our archers. I'm actually going to put them a little bit off skew. I know that's not directly facing the enemy, but your actual flank doesn't matter. The key is that those archers over there have really nice elevation. And we'll move the 3rd cav over there. We'll have the horse archers follow and the 2nd cav follow me. So we're effectively going to try to pin down the enemy on some level with those archers in that center core over there, and then circle them with our jav cav here on the outskirts. The other thing I'll try to do if I have an opportunity, actually, you know what, we're going to go hard to one of these flanks. We're going to try to destroy one of those cav divisions over there. That 3rd, excuse me, that cav division or that cav division. I say the 3rd because that's where my cav division. I'm actually going to have these guys charge right from the get-go. These guys can do some damage over there. And then we will assist them with the 2nd here. Alright, so as I'm doing this, I'm also going to continue to set up my archers, right? I want my archers to be set up so that they're pounding the enemy as well. We're effectively going to try to hit the enemy. That's the key here. We have more ranged units. We are going to try to hit the enemy on multiple sides, right? I'm actually putting the 6th in a square, not because they're protected like that, but because if I move them quickly, they will get to this location before they have protection, right? I can't do that. That'll have very unpleasant results.
Mounted up! Line up! All stay close! Keep close!
And as I said, if I have the opportunity to destroy these cav divisions, I certainly will. So the 2nd and 3rd are following me here. They've thrown 1,000 javelins at us. We're on hold fire with my jav cav. I don't want our guys yet wasting ammo I want them using their ammo productively here, probably on the main Vanguard, although we'll probably have some exchange with their other troops. Now you notice what I'm doing here, I'm pulling to the opposite side of our archers. I don't need all these troops firing right at the shield wall of the enemy here, so we're going to be circling the enemy and trying to attack them from the flank and from the side. It doesn't do any good at all if we're showing where we're at and they can just hold our shields up and block most of our arrows. Now we're going to destroy, or at least destroy, this cav division here. We have a huge numerical advantage, and we're going to pour in very briefly because their archers will be attacking us and try to do some real good damage to those guys. I don't want these guys running in though and attacking their main divisions. So it's going to be brief. We're basically getting in and out of here because notice that we're taking a lot of damage from their archers. Right now the screen is pretty green right now because we hold this numerical advantage, but we can't stay here long. One of the keys in this battle, I think, will be to keep moving. Now it's time to do a little drive-by action here. We're going to do some javelin attacks on this main group, right? They're pounding us with arrows. Our guys have their shields up, though, so that should certainly help. And now we're going to open fire, right? These guys, it's time for these guys to throw all of these javelins that I've been having them patiently hold. They should be unloading javelins everywhere. And really what we want to do here is just sort of disrupt the enemy. As their archers opened up here, we're going to drag them right through, right? We're basically going to try to take advantage of the fact that these archers are exposed. Notice I'm trying to avoid their main infantry there. I don't want our guys running through their infantry. Going to send the 3rd Corps all the way to the other side, and again, we're going to continue essentially to not let the enemy defend us directly with their shield walls, right? We want to have this shield wall protection. We want to utilize the fact that our troops are more mobile than theirs and try to hit the enemy from multiple sides. Their archers are kind of peeling towards the middle here, so we're going to charge. And anytime their archers are sort of out here exposed, I want these guys charging in here and causing major damage. I'm more or less just being defensive here with my troops. I don't want my guys getting skewered. I don't want my guys getting shot off their horses. So it's a shield wall position. We're essentially just trying to weaken that 215, 214 archers, right? The most important thing for us in this battle is to weaken those units. So now what I'm doing is I'm advancing. I'm advancing with the infantry and archer division over there. Again, I've got the archers vulnerable here. We're going to attack. And you see me do this over and over. Every time that they're sort of moving like this, we're going to be trying to be in their midst. And I'm basically just watching their Battanian Fian Champs, right? That's where we're going to be coming in. Alright, now the combo attack. My infantry divisions have been told to charge, right? So what I also want is our horse division, the 4th, the 3rd, and the 2nd to all be charging here, right? We want to basically be surrounding these enemies, knocking them to the ground, and causing general chaos. The palace guards just arrived. That's a really good sign. And at this stage, all I'm trying to do here is keep their archers occupied. Right? I want these guys being ran over. I want them having carnage caused. And we'll get another charge in here with our 2nd division. Again, they're like facing me here, so I can just basically pull them to me, right? Pull them directly towards me, and we can continue to sort of run through these guys. But we don't want to stand still. They do so much damage with their arrows. And I think that was one shot, did almost half my damage. Again, I see where they're spreading out, in we go.
with me!
I think it's time to switch to spear only here. This guy probably capable of quite a bit of damage if he uses his spears, and not very much if he doesn't. Of course, that's instant death. Now, me, I'm using the RTS mod, so I will be able to take control of another one of these characters, at least until he's shot off his horse. And now the strategy at this stage remains just trying to keep these Battanian Fian Champs interrupted. Right, as long as I can do that, as long as I can keep these guys sort of running, keep them occupied, there's a chance that our archers can whittle them down on the other side, and we can ultimately have success here. Their infantry is kind of approaching our archers. That's somewhat problematic. But our cav is slowly wearing this archer division down. You can see them running through, spearing guys here and there. Actually, it looks like their archers might be routing. Their infantry division's definitely routing. Our archers did major damage over there. And this battle is over. There's no more enemy left holding up their swords against us here. So, even though the captain of our Aserai got killed, right, he actually, later on, we learned that he died of gangrene, right? This is just a common thing back in the day. If you got shot with an arrow, that was pretty much curtains. But ultimately, victory is victory, right? And somebody else will take over his reign. Somebody else can be the tyrannical despot, and we move on successfully. Admittedly, that was harder than I thought this was going to be. I thought with good strategy, good tactics, and surround and around tactics, we could overwhelm the Battanians, but they pressed us pretty hard here. I think this goes on to confirm what a lot of us feel, that the Battanian Fian Champ line probably could stand to be nerfed a little bit, right? Could stand to be decreased in strength a little bit, and it would still be a very potent, powerful unit. Here you can see it's virtually just archers that are left. And again, just numerically looking at it, you know, we ended up with 137 guys. That's not a decisive, crushing victory. That's more of a close victory when it comes to custom battles. And the total number of elite troops does bear out the same thing as we discovered last time. They had 124 Battanian Fian Champs, and we had 122 and 124 Vanguard Faris. So we had identical troops on the battlefield, and ultimately we were able to overcome the Battanians here. So that was fun. That was another one of these custom battles. I appreciate the suggestion from one of the commenters. If you're interested in seeing a difficult custom battle, I'm certainly willing to take it on. This was actually my second attempt at trying this with the Aserai. I had to shoot it twice. The first time I had kind of poor strategy, didn't coordinate my infantry very well, and they got devoured before our cav could really come to bear on the enemy. I like to be sort of straightforward with stuff like that. I'm not just Yoda. I don't just pick up some kingdom and run around with lightsabers and kill everything, right? To mix my metaphors. Sometimes it takes. Look at this horse with the javelin in its face. It would be dead. You know, these custom battles are something where I'm learning to improve my own skill in the game, which always is improving, right? Anybody who's playing Bannerlord, just like real life, you're always trying to make improvements. So I appreciate the suggestion, fellas. I appreciate the idea that there are interesting challenges out there that we haven't come up with yet, and I will continue to try these custom battles as long as you guys are interested in them. So thanks again for watching, fellas. I will see you guys next time.